Someone to come home with me. Will it be you? Or will it be you? Or will it be one of you? All you have to do is be angry and over, baby. And you can come home with me. You can play house with me. You will be the mother and I will be the daddy. Yes, I will.
Hello folks, and welcome back to True Crime Phenomenon. This is Josh coming back with another video. Now today we're going to be covering the Rkelly trial. Now the trial started on August 15th of 2022. It's about a month long total, and the prosecution rested on Tuesday, August 30th, 2022. So this is kind of a synopsis of what we've seen so far. Now after being convicted of X crimes in New York, so got to censor that for YouTube. Rkelly has been charged with 13 counts of creating and receiving CP. Now, rhymes with corn, enticing minors into X activity, and obstruction of justice. Now, the obstruction of justice charges stem from his 2008 CP trial, which Rkelly was acquitted. This hinged on the fact that the witness/victim refused to testify despite having video evidence. Federal prosecutors claimed that the victim's family was paid off and threatened by Rkelly and his associates. Rkelly was convicted in New York on federal charges and sentenced to 30 years in prison on 9 counts of X trafficking and racketeering. 8 of these counts were violations of the Mann Act. Now, part of these charges were related to Rkelly's marriage to Aaliyah. They were married in the 90s when Rkelly was 27 and his young protege Aaliyah was only 15 years old. Rkelly has been sued multiple times for SA allegations and has settled multiple cases out of court with the magic number of $250,000. Rkelly also faces charges in Minnesota and state charges in Illinois. Now, Rkelly is known to frequent local malls to interact with minors and pass out his phone number. Rkelly also frequents this rock and roll McDonald's in Chicago, where he has multiple alleged victims, both male and female.
Wondering about you. Do you like teenage girls?
When you say teenage, how are we talking?
Girls who are teenagers.
19?
19 and younger.
I have some 19-year-old friends, but I don't like anybody illegal if that's what we're talking about, underage.
Some people think that you like underage girls. What do you say to them?
Well, those people that don't know Robert, they don't know me, so I usually don't get into what people think about me, because all my career, even before the trial, people have had their opinions about Robert, and that's probably because it has a lot to do with me. I kind of shy away from the crowd, because I'm always in the studio, digging deep into the basement all the time of my house, creating music.
My favorite channel covering the Rkelly saga is The Plainest Jane, and she calls Rkelly supporters the Pee Hive. So if you have a minute, please go check out her channel. I'm a big fan. I love the work. She does a great job. So the Pee Hive likes to shift blame on the victims and their parents. Despite the fact that minors cannot consent, they continue to flood comment sections and YouTube channels with their unflinching support for their king of R&B, Robert Sylvester Kelly. Now, Rkelly is known for having a peculiar bedroom predilection that include number 1 and number 2 smeared on the face of his victims, if you understand what I'm getting at there. Now, the whole thing from beginning to end is just disgusting. One of Rkelly's earliest victims being discussed in this case is Aaliyah. Now, as mentioned before, she was 15 years old when she married Rkelly, but it's rumored by people close to Rkelly and the deceased Aaliyah that his relationship with her, his intimate relationship with her, started at the age of 13, 14 years old. Javante Cunningham, who was a backup singer to Rkelly and Aaliyah, states that she caught them in the act while on a bus during a concert tour. Now, Rkelly allegedly had a relationship with Aaliyah's mother as well, an intimate relationship which was inappropriate. Now, she also ended up dating Dame Dash after this, and Dame Dash reports that she wouldn't want to talk about this particular issue, so they never got into the details of what actually happened between Aaliyah and Rkelly's relationship while they were together. So the next victim that we're going to discuss today is Jane. And Jane is a young woman from the original tape that led to the 2008 trial. Now, by the way, Jane is not her actual name. I will not be giving out her actual name, though I do know it because I just feel like it's inappropriate. She was 14 years old at the time, and it's disgusting. Now, she testified that she was, in fact, the young girl of 14 years old on the tape getting doused in lemonade. So gross. She also testified to the fact that her family was paid and sent to Cancun before and during the trial to avoid the press and subpoenas. Her mother testified to the facts as well and said that she didn't want her daughter to have to deal with the fallout from the trial, which, being a father myself, I completely understand that. Now, when Jane was asked why she is testifying now, she said, "I was tired of lying for Robert." Now, that's paraphrasing, of course, but she's tired of holding it in and tired of having to lie to cover Robert Kelly's dirty deeds. Now, the jurors have viewed multiple clips from the original video and 4 new videos. Now, I'm not certain if these new videos came from the disgraced attorney Michael Avenatti, who stole from his clients, one of them being Stormy Daniels. So I'm not certain on that. However, it doesn't matter. These videos are clearly Rkelly and clearly show him doing disgusting things to minors. Now, I don't know if some of you probably weren't born back when this all took place, but there was this tape that was circulating around local community, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, all over the United States, and I never watched it myself because I didn't want to watch that at all. It just, every part of it was disgusting to me. So, but I do know people that did see it, and you can see actual screenshots online from it that don't show anything inappropriate, but you can clearly see Rkelly setting up a video camera and getting things ready to film, and it's in the so-called Colorado room, which is the room that has wood paneling all around. You can see him setting up the camera so he gets great pictures, and Robert's known for recording his victims as well as those who are willing and those that can't consent. So if you cannot consent, it is an act of force, in my opinion and the law's opinion.
Let's settle down for a second so I can talk to y'all for a second. I got a problem. The day before I got on the plane to come out here, me and my girl broke up. Yeah, we broke up. And it was over something really, really silly. Something we shouldn't have broken up over.
But it is. It is what it is. We broke up, and here I am in Ethiopia tonight. Question. Is there anybody out there single? That broke up with a man and they looking for somebody else right now? You gotta be single. You gotta be single. Single ladies, put your hands in the air right now so I can see you. It's so many. I'm confused. Single ladies, single ladies. Now, I would like to get to know you and talk to you and have a drink or something, and we can just have something to eat and just... But at the end of the conversation, I'm going to want you to come back to America with me. I know I am. So you got to be willing to split the difference. Come to America and see me. I come out here to see you in Ethiopia. But it's so hard to get back and forth, Problem. How am I going to get you from Ethiopia to America? Let me think. I got it. Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots? Girl, would you like to come back with Rob to America? America. Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots? Girl, would you like to come back with Rob to America? America. Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots? Who wants to come back with us to America? To America.
Okay, so moving right along to the next victim, Lisa Van Allen. Lisa Van Allen actually played a big part in the Surviving R. Kelly documentary. If you've seen it, you're pretty familiar with her. Lisa Van Allen testified to being the second young lady in one of R. Kelly's obscene videos with 14-year-old Jane. Lisa Van Allen was 18 years old at the time and received immunity for her testimony. Now, Lisa also had attempted to get money from R. Kelly to hand over tapes that she had taken from R. Kelly. Now, a gentleman by the name of Charles Freeman and another gentleman named Keith Morrell testified as well, stating that they were hired by R. Kelly to retrieve this evidence from Lisa Van Allen and other people that had the tapes. R. Kelly offered $1 million to retrieve the tapes, plus expenses. Now, Charles Freeman sued R. Kelly for non-payment and threatened to call a press conference before the 2008 trial. Now, both men received immunity for their testimony. Now, Lisa Van Allen is kind of a peculiar figure because anybody that knows an 18-year-old is not grown, in my opinion, I don't think they should be considered adults because they're still children. Your brain is still developing until I think the age of 25 or 27, something like that. So, she attempted to extort money from R. Kelly, and then she also received financial benefit from R. Kelly to raise her daughter as well as to pay her expenses. So she's kind of one of those shadowy figures on the outside. You know, she's kind of a gray figure. You know, she's doing the right thing by testifying, and she actually testified at the previous trial, but she's not perfect and squeaky clean, and neither are any of these people. Nobody is squeaky clean and perfect when it comes to this, and that's one of the reasons why I feel Robert Kelly chooses these particular victims, is because he can cast aspersions on their particular background or character. Alright, so the next victim is Pauline. I'm just going to go briefly through Pauline. Pauline said that she met Rkelly when she was 15 or 16 and had an inappropriate relationship with Rkelly, engaging in group behavior, if you understand what I'm intimating there. So she was a minor participating in group behavior with Rkelly as well as other people. Okay, so the next victim is Tracy. Tracy met Rkelly while interning at Epic Records when she was 16 years old. She was coerced into an inappropriate relationship with Rkelly and had group relations with Rkelly and 14-year-old Jane. And this seems to be a pattern for Rkelly. He finds these young, vulnerable women, they look at him as a star, and eventually he convinces them to start participating in this bad behavior with him. And, you know, it's no fault of the victim. She's 16 years old. She doesn't know any better. But Rkelly damn well knows better. He knows that this is wrong, and yet he does it anyways. Okay, so the final victim that we're going to be covering is Nia. Nia met Rkelly at the age of 15 while at a mall in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, if you know Rkelly, he loves malls and he loves McDonald's. Rkelly gave her his phone number, and things kind of ramped up from there. Nia alleges that Rkelly knew her age and flew her out to his concert in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where the inappropriate relationship began. She claims that Rkelly never had intercourse with her, but fondled her and did his business on her. Yeah, if you understand what I mean. On the front side of her. Anyhow, Rkelly then stopped returning her phone calls and text messages, so he just kind of ghosted her. Now, Rkelly is well known for going to malls and picking up women. He had a home in Atlanta, Georgia, so he would often take people back there to abuse them. If you watch the Surviving Rkelly documentary, you'll find that he did this often. You know, there was a young lady that is prominent as one of the victims that said that she met Rkelly at the mall. You know, he likes to throw out, you know, I can get your singing career going and stuff like that. So, real shady character, as I'm sure we all know. Alright, so in conclusion, Rkelly is being represented by Jennifer Bonjean, who successfully appealed Bill Cosby's conviction, getting it overturned. She is actually known for representing these types of clients with questionable character and morals. Now, during the trial, Bonjean has been chastised by the judge for harassing and bullying behavior while questioning victims. At one point, the judge forgot he was still on a hot mic and said, "Can you imagine having to wake up next to her every day?" I thought it was hilarious, because it's so true. He was talking to a couple of the assistant district attorneys, and you know, Miss Bonjean did not like those comments. She actually said that they were sexist and offensive. Now, there's a lot more going on in this trial/case than I think people realize. For example, Sparkle, the aunt of Jane, who is the victim from the original video, she's the 14-year-old victim in that original tape that got everything started. Now, Sparkle testified in the original trial, and she was the only one in her family who actually did so. Now, the niece claimed to have claimed that Sparkle had been in an intimate relationship with Rkelly, And Jane also claims that she told her to ask Rkelly to be her godfather and go over and sit on his lap and rub his head. You know, how true that is, I don't know. But Sparkle claims that she's just lied on the stand. Basically, it's not true, none of it's true, never happened. Now, there have also been claims that Andrea Kelly, the ex-wife of Rkelly, was more involved in group activity than she has said in the past. Okay, so one thing we know is that Rkelly had to be forced multiple times to pay back child support. Now, at the very least, Rkelly is a deadbeat dad. At the very worst, he's a human trafficking predator, master manipulator, and narcissist that cannot change. Now, I've done my best to kind of sprinkle in some videos here and there, kind of showing Robert's behavior and hyper-sexualized environment he creates while on tour. They're interesting videos, and I don't know if you can draw any conclusions from them, but especially after that original trial, for him to continue in this manner is just bizarre and strange. Now, in my personal opinion, Rkelly should have been put under the jail 20 years ago. He should be doing life without the possibility of parole. This is how I feel about sexual predators. I do not believe any sexual predator should be walking the streets, period, end of story. We've got people in prison for drugs, you know, that need treatment. This type of thing, in my opinion, cannot be treated. This is my personal opinion. I don't think you can treat this type of behavior. I think it's ingrained to them. Now, the fact that it took a documentary exposing Rkelly to get Ken Fox to indict the famous musician is absolutely obscene and appalling. Now, if you don't remember who Ken Fox is the Cook County DA that refused to prosecute Jussie Smollett for his fake hate crime. Now, imagine this. This is a fake hate crime, and the ramifications of this are so wide-stretching that possible victims that are actual victims of hate crimes may not be believed in the future because of what Jussie Smollett did. And the fact that she was willing to just sweep it under the rug and just move on just blows my mind. Anyhow, these young ladies deserve to be heard, and they deserve justice, period, end of story. I think this case is important, and I think the rest of them are important because, you know, he's going to try and appeal these different verdicts. If one of them sticks, I'll be happy. So I just wanted to thank you all for watching. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm still demonetized, still appealing it. It's still a pain. If you like what I'm doing here, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Once I get anybody supporting me there, I'll start releasing stuff there. However, yeah, I mean, that's the only way I could get any type of assistance unless I get some sort of sponsorship. So any help would be appreciated. I also got links down below where you can support putting money towards FOIA requests. So I do FOIA requests and I have to pay for those. So I've been paying for this whole thing out of my own pocket. I think I made $160 from YouTube so far. But yeah, please help me out if you can. If not, no big deal. I'll keep fighting for sponsorships and I'll keep fighting for monetization because it's ridiculous. You know, I don't have any strikes, any community guideline strikes. I don't have anything. So, folks, if you could please help me out, I'd really appreciate it. If not, keep your eyes on my content. That's all I ask. All right. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. I've got 4 or 5 videos in process, so I'll see you then.